That's us, your confused and besotted hosts, this week looking at Moonstruck. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I have a burp for
Eh,
you because it's your
Burp for me.
birthday.
Thanks. Happy birthday.
Um, Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Uh, so I feel like you should go first
Oh,
because
Jesus.
yeah. So when I was over visiting Andy a couple weeks ago, basically, I brought his birthday presents over and then I was like, maybe you'll be able to open them on pod. And here we are.
Yeah.
All my dreams came
Oh, yeah.
true.
So, is that what we want to do first?
Yeah, I don't know. No, we can do crack and then we can
Okay,
do
okay, okay. And then
open
do
presents
presents.
time.
All
Okay.
right. So, few different things. So, like, I have been doing, I've been out for dinner with my folks and things like that, a few days prior to this, for my birthday. But my kind of big birthday outing was going to see The Mandalorian and Grogu in 40X.
What?
So it's my first.
What's 40X as
Okay,
opposed
so
to
that's so
40?
it's
Is it
video
just like,
40Xs.
okay, yeah, yeah.
So
Is it like smell-o-vision or something?
you mean you're not far off? Like
Oh, really?
essentially, well, it doesn't really have any smells. I suppose it does kind of. Right. Okay. Anyway, so essentially, it is a like completely immersive experience. Is the idea? I thought the seats would be more enclosed. They're not really, but you sit in these seats, and there's also a place to set your feet on, and they respond to the movie. So there's a few different things that happen. Both the seats move around. I think sometimes to really good effect, sometimes it kind of sucks. Like if you're in an action scene, you're getting buffeted about the place, and I think it's a bit too much. But um, certain sequences, certainly in this movie, where like spaceships are flying off, and it just kind of picks you up and gradually kind of like it's really nice. And then there's like wind that blows in your face when that's happening. I think that's great, but I think that other effect, like I say, the action, the movement through action is too much. I think.
Yeah. You're
Still
like, I'm
glad I
not in
did
a
it.
not in a Land Rover.
No,
I want
I
to
don't.
watch this action sequence.
I think it was like overall, like I enjoyed the movie fine, but I think it helped the movie. Like there was also like you get sprayed in the face with water sometimes. There is smoke machines. There are smoke machines in the cinema whenever like explosions happen. Smoke. It's like it's not. It's also like you're wearing 3D glasses as well, so it's the whole smorgasbord. Um,
I think I would vomit. I'm
yeah,
not
I
kidding.
I don't I going into it, I was like, I've always wanted to try this, and I wanted to give something, do something that I think would be a good kind of blockbustery thing, and I thought this is a good fit for it because I knew that
Absolutely.
that's what this would be, and
You
I
couldn't
def
hold out for Masters of the Universe.
no, I am I going to see Masters of the Universe? Probably, I almost certainly am. Yeah,
I already
I
bought tickets.
I was like in two minds about it, and then I saw some of the character posters, and they're really going nuts, and I'm like, okay, I'm back in,
I
but.
know.
40X, definitely an experience worth having, but not something I would be rushing back for. And Mandalorian and Grogu, it felt like two episodes kind of squished together. I kind of wish there had been a larger sort of movie plot. Like I think that kind of
The
diminished it
plot.
a wee bit. Yeah, I kind of wish
Yeah.
that there had been a bit more of a like full story that went throughout the film, and like character development and stuff. Do I ask for too much, asking for character development in my movies, perhaps? But like, I think that I still enjoyed it. I still had a nice time, I must say. Um,
I heard a rumor about Pedro Pascal and the Mandalorian role that he
that
was
he
like he was gonna quit because he was always wearing the helmet. No one knew it was him, and he's like, the children aren't adoring me. And they were like, you can take off the helmet, and now like all the kids know who he is, and that makes him happy.
I think that like what was interesting about it is that like in the like appearance list at the end of the movie it says his name and his two stunt performers because I think a lot of the times he's not on set.
Gotcha.
He's
They're
just
like
like
wearing the, he's like,
yeah,
oh, it's a helmet scene. It doesn't,
it's not a need to be here.
allegedly,
Yeah,
allegedly.
yeah. Which is I like that those other two got their notices
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Um, the other thing that I thought, because we're doing a movie podcast, that I thought I should bring up is so there's a news article I was reading about over the weekend, and Paul Schrader, who a
Yeah.
name you probably recognize, a
Yeah.
very famous sort of screenwriter, worked with a ton of very kind of famous. directors and things like that. So there was a news story about him over the weekend where he had set up an AI girlfriend for himself, and she dumped him. She said she didn't want to speak to him anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it
Can
feels
they do
very,
that?
it feels very on brand for Paul Schrader as well. But like as people were
He
saying, and what?
looks, I mean, good for him. He's into transcendental meditation. That's pretty cool. But like, he's not in his 50s
No,
and he's 79 and he's hip enough to have an AI girlfriend.
right?
Uh-huh.
And also like admitting it. Like I saw one of the first comments I saw was basically Batman couldn't have got this information out of me, and I'm like I can, yeah, it's fair, but like good on him for trying it not working and then admitting that it didn't happen. That's a very bold thing for somebody, especially somebody as hey, he's pretty famous, I think, to admit. But yeah, so that's a crack with me. What's been going on with
Okay.
you?
Um, it's the last 2 weeks of school for the kids.
Uh-huh.
So we call it Maycember,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that it's like the holidays, just around the December time where there's just something happening every day and like none of it really makes sense and you don't want to go to any of it, but you have to. So it's like recitals and they did lunch on the lawn on a half day. Do you guys know what half days are?
Yes.
Okay, or like minimum day.
Mm-hmm.
So our kids eat at like they go to school so fucking early. They eat lunch at like 10:40. So on a minimum day, lunch was at like 9:40. So I dropped them off, came home, went back to the school. I was a great parent. I forgot. I normally they do like a hot dog feast or something, and I guess they got in trouble with the school district for serving like food that isn't good for you, which like you should
Okay.
see their monthly lunch menu. I make like bring it and read it on pod because it's hilarious
Is
how
it
much
like
pepperoni pizza these kids eat.
okay, okay.
But a hot dog, no, no. So I was like, hot dog day, just you don't need lunches. You guys want hot dogs? And they're like, yeah. Of course, there were no hot dogs, so my children didn't have food. I had to beg off food from all these other moms. Um, so yeah, that was my
Wait, so
parenting failure.
they were having a hot dog day and they ran out of hot dogs essentially, or what
They
happened?
didn't even, I
Oh,
guess
oh,
they
so
they
they were
can't
shouted at and then they didn't make a
they didn't make
alternate.
anything
I see.
at all.
I
Yeah,
see.
so that's fine. Charles had his first sleepover,
Nice.
except for with like he does like cousin sleepover, but like
Sure.
friend coming over.
Hell yeah.
The kid ended up being here for like 24 hours, not kidding. So it was kind of like, can I take your kid to the trampoline park? And they're like, yeah, and like in and out, and they're like, sure. So, he had a good experience. I tried to make it the most fun
Good.
sleepover ever. So like, it was good. I think, they played all the video games. They did all the swimming. They went to the park. I took them to the jump place. We did the
Hmm.
California
Hmm.
thing of like, you get a double double sauce only. If
Hmm.
anyone knows
Hmm.
In and Out, like there's secret menu ways that you order food.
Yep.
And they're
Animal
like,
animal
yeah,
style is the big
animal
one.
style, protein style.
Hmm.
Anyways, and then the big news is we set up a music room
Okay.
because the kids are both like learning instruments and Mike came home with a bass guitar
Yes.
the other day and I was like, "Oh right, we have the ukulele and the it's like a one of those foldable piano thingies." And Mike was like, "Let's put it all in one room." So we had the worst jam session anyone's ever heard. Where like I was trying to remember how to do like a certain because I played the flute and I was like, I don't remember how to. I was just trying to run scales and I can't remember how to do some of the notes. And Charles was playing like Octopus Garden by the Beatles, which is one of the most annoying songs ever made. Mike was playing Nirvana and Harper was playing
Oh
Defying
yeah.
Gravity all at the same time. So it was a cacophony of like horribleness.
All right.
Just you wait. When you come over,
Oh,
see
it's gonna be
what you'll
exciting.
play. You'll get the cowbell.
I think, I mean, look, it's fine. I think I want to get into some sort of percussion, but I don't know what that looks like just yet,
It's
you
so
know.
fucking cool when Charles plays the drums. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And then Mike put on Nirvana as we were like getting the room set up, and I was like, this is what I want to play to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
Good
it's
options.
good. It's good.
Um,
Um, do you want to?
open presents.
Yes,
All right. Okay. All right. So I'm opening my first present.
do the squishy one first.
Okay, this is the special one. Okay, do you want to vamp? Do you want to vamp for the audience at
Okay,
home?
yeah, so it's wrapping paper made by me with dots. I tried to find
Made by you?
made no, no. I mean bought by me.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so
Okay, it's a
Andy did
t-shirt of some kind, or
it is a
maybe.
t-shirt. It's a bright blue t-shirt because I know you. You'll wear color.
Yes, it's a potato chip rock t-shirt. Oh,
Okay, so
awesome.
we yeah, do you like it?
I like the back. Yeah, the back's
I
cool. Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah, it's
I
nice.
know.
Yeah, it's good. Thank
So
you.
I hope it fits. But
It's like a nice
when Andy
material.
was over
Okay.
here a couple years ago, if anyone is curious as to why I bought him a potato chip rock t-shirt, there's a hike here
Oh my
where
God.
you go on this like outcropping of granite, and it's like so thin that it looks like it's gonna fall at any moment. And Andy did it, and he earned the t-shirt. So
I like the it's a cool t-shirt. Thank you so much. It's
yeah,
like um my Google image is that picture because it's me kind of
yeah,
lying like an asshole, you know, one
yeah.
side.
So for all of Andy's friends that know that photo, now he earned the t-shirt. It was a
I did.
mountain we climbed,
It
so
wasn't my weak time. It's true.
yeah.
Okay. Item number two.
Number two, also about the same size, and this has more to do with our movie podcast that we do. I'm so excited.
Okay, so there is an envelope within here.
Yes, so I sent away for this, especially.
Okay, I'm gonna need a tool, a
I went
device.
to I went to the eBay and God, I love that website. I've
eBay.
gotten yeah, man. You can just find anything on there.
Hold on, I need a lay in, but can you vamp for me a bit more? Okay, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Vamp. So the item that Andy chose, he has no sharp objects on his desk at all.
I
Are
don't. This
those
is
nail clippers?
yes. I'm using the file of a pair of nail clippers to open this. It's the closest thing I have to a blade in this test. I'm like you Americans putting blades
I
everywhere.
know. I'm like, everyone go rob Andy because he's got nail clippers. He can't defend himself.
True.
Those board games behind you are probably worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Some of them.
All my now that my comics are sold. So
Yeah. You're
that was
like, what else I got?
my tree treasure trove.
Right.
Okay, right. I
Okay.
have opened the envelope.
It says, please do not bend.
It does say please don't bend it. I'm planning not to. That
Okay,
is a
so
piece of cardboard.
it is a
It's
piece
not
of
it.
cardboard. No.
Okay.
Okay. It's a treasure
Opening.
map. Just kidding.
Jeez.
It's something
Okay.
way better.
Oh, I think I know what this is. All
Okay.
right. Do I?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
Oh my God. Can't I even open this? Yes, I can.
Okay, now he's just got like two pieces of paper that are stuck together, and he's having a hard time with that too.
It is actually good. Ooh, am I opening the right hand?
I think it's taped. I think I taped
Oh, that is
it.
taped. I think it is taped. That's what it is. Okay, okay.
Okay, so get your nail clip
I'm going
file.
back to the nail clippers. This is riveting podcasting for everyone
Okay,
back
what I
home.
really need to get you is a Swiss Army knife.
100%.
What is it?
Okay. It is a signed photograph. Is it? Is it Nev Campbell?
No,
Who
it's
is it?
Marcia Gay Harden from
Mercy
Miller's
Gay Harder.
Crossing.
Oh, yes. Okay. Amazing. Right. Why did I? Okay. Okay. Right. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're so
Excellent.
welcome.
Especially because I was so in love with her from Miller's
Yeah,
Crossing. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's Marcia Gay Harden in her character, in her outfit, smoking a cig. It's a photograph, and then yeah, she
Looking like an
autographed.
absolute
She
smoke
auto
show.
totally. And I was cheap, and I didn't even get you a picture frame, so figure it out yourself.
No, 100%. I
Sorry.
have I can see this. I can see the signature now. You know what else I should have brought into this room? My
What?
reading glasses.
Oh
Yeah,
no, you're like it's Nev Campbell, and if like we've watched no movies
I
by
know.
Nev Campbell.
I know. And because even like I was trying to do the reading and I'm doing like you can't see it at home, but I'm kind of holding it really
He
far away
was
and I'm
so
like,
far.
okay.
Ugh.
Thank Thank you. Lovely
You're welcome.
gifts, thoughtful
Happy
gifts. Much
birthday. Happy
appreciated. Yeah,
birthday.
they're great. Thank you
I'm
so
not going to
much.
sing to you because,
It's fine.
you
It's
know,
fine.
yeah.
I've already been sung
Not
at
going to torture
today.
the people, right?
So
Boo! I've
nice
already
ones.
been sung at
Okay.
today.
So
Okay,
Beth, do you have any what's occurring for
I
us?
do. So I'm not putting this down for clarification station because it was me being right. So I'm just putting this under what's occurring. I was
Okay.
bitching a couple weeks ago about how someone yelled at me in a meeting one time about how verbiage wasn't a word.
Sure.
And so one of our listeners said verbiage, sometimes spelled as verbiage without an I, means an excessive or unnecessary amount of words. It's usually used when someone is being overly wordy or complicated. So it does exist,
That's
and I
what
wasn't wrong.
I thought so. And like it's also this
Yeah.
thing sometimes whenever like a word kind of like becomes like, into the ether, words,
Yes.
they can become official words and like what at what point is a word a real word? At what point is it not a word? Does it have to be in the dictionary first? I don't know.
I
Uh
mean, doesn't it have to, if it's in the, I think it's if it's in the Oxford English Dictionary,
yeah.
and there's like usually there's a whole process to get your word, your fad word
Yeah.
in, and I don't know what that, but there has to be a rubric.
Yes. I think like that's how like Delulu became a real word.
Ugh.
Exactly. So it's like, it's just not listen to the man, the
Yeah,
Oxford Dictionary
right.
man. We can,
Mike's been running around saying he's in his vibe era.
yeah, good man.
I
That's what I like.
was
That's
like,
what I like
you
to
just
hear.
go all the way. He's like, look at me, I'm in my vibe era. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one more.
Uh-huh.
So this is from Top Fan.
Mm-hmm.
This is I posted a photo of sheep at prehistoric Avebury rubbing their butts on these prehistoric Neolithic stones. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Top Fan said, I'm only aware of this in the Anglosphere, which what is that? It's the UK?
I think he's specifically
Anglo-Saxon.
talking about England and English culture.
Okay. But I wonder if it's more universal globally that any rural group, people, region, etc., are mockingly derided as sheepshaggers by more urban and suburban populations. We central lowland Scots tend to single out people from the northeast city and region of Aberdeen as sheepshaggers, and this is the most intensely deployed at football/soccer rivalry
Mm-hmm.
discourse.
Mm-hmm.
However, we would cast sheep-shagging suspicions wider across the picturesque, but similarly rather desolate and lonely Highlands. Along Alongside that, the entire nation of Wales we regard as broadly sheep-shag centric, ignoring
Yes.
that it has a major population centers like city of
Mm-hmm. Cardiff. Mm-hmm.
Cardiff, because the sheep shagging joke is too much fun to let reality get in the way. What are typically regarded who are typically regarded as sheep shaggers in the US of A, Beth, or is this playful insult directed only to neighboring countries? Um, so I responded online, but I just liked this conversation that I'm having
Sure.
with our top fan. We don't really use that term, but also like sheep are not as plentiful as you're driving around. You're not like, oh, more sheep fields. Like it kind of seems like it is in the UK. Uh, and probably Ireland itself also, or Anglo-sphere, the Anglosphere. So, but we use terms like redneck and like
Yes.
white trash. And yes, but like we go even further, and I'm not going to repeat any of these words,
Sure.
but like if there is a basically like if there are certain areas that have a name, we will rhyme that name with something else, usually having to do with race, and make it really terrible.
Sure. 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 Sure.
Because
Sure.
we're just a bunch of racists over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I
Um,
have there.
so Anglosphere apparently describes things that are affected by English culture and speak the English language. So I suppose broadly, it's all of the UK and also because like it's not only Wales gets a lot of it, also people in New Zealand get a lot of it as well. So I suppose it's more, remote places, I guess, maybe, or
Yeah,
places that have a lot more countryside, I guess.
yeah.
Um, yeah, very interesting. Like because I did a quick search for it when you were talking about it, and there is like a Wikipedia page for sheep shagger.
All right, well, I know what I'm doing for the rest of today.
It's relatively short, but there's some good information in there. But there is a section, right? Because like Wikipedia breaks things down into like, different sections of notes, so history and things like that. There is a music section where, do you know the Manic Street Preachers?
No.
Okay, so they're a band from Wales. They're pretty big in the UK, and
Manic Street Preachers?
yeah, I think there's a possibility you'll have heard some of their songs.
I
And
like the name of the band for
yeah,
sure.
but they apparently it says here they routinely dealt with sheep-related heckles from gig audiences, including shouts of sheep shagger, bleat, and stuffed toy sheep thrown on stage. Uh,
Wow.
with the stock response, "Yeah, we shag him, then you eat him." So there you go.
Yeah, that's good.
Um,
I had a friend in college. I went to like a I went to two different colleges, but the first one was pretty rural, and so you like take the rural back. I had a friend who would never take the freeways, so we were always
okay.
on these like, and I didn't have a car, so it's like, yeah, sure, I'll drive an extra 30 minutes on the back roads because you don't like the freeways. Anyways, but we were I remember we were driving by like a big field of sheep, and he just looked and he was like, "Ah, the perfect ass." And I just like, I kind of like knew that concept of like farmers and sheep and all that, but it was like he didn't even just like he just yeah, I think about that every time I drive by a field
Some
of sheep.
sheep. Yeah.
When like I went to visit you, like I'm just like in my head, I'm just like the perfect ass. Oh, there's more of the perfect ass. More because they're
Yeah,
just
there's sheep everywhere. Yeah.
everywhere. It's the best.
It is, and it definitely would have happened. It does happen over here as well. I've
They're
definitely
just like cute
done
little
that with friends. Yeah.
fluffy clouds. Yeah.
I wonder why like sheep are the target for this and not like cows or pigs or anything like that. It's an interesting that those are the sheep are the
Yeah.
animals per sheep, and
Yeah.
they get targeted.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Okay. Um, shall we move on to our subject for the week,
Yes, let's do it.
which is Moonstruck, the third in our Nicolas Cage season. A movie
Hmm.
that I have never seen before, but certainly something that I was aware of. Very, very different movie from what I was expecting in a lot of ways, I must say.
Yeah.
Um,
Were you thinking like Witches of Eastwick or something?
no, I thought it would be a much more traditional, not traditional romantic comedy, but like a much more straightforward romantic comedy.
Definitely not.
It's not at all.
No. Were you like, yay?
And it was good, like, but I did like one of the things I wrote down was this film is nuts, and it is. It's
It
completely insane.
is. It is. Like the fact that they can get that much plot, speaking of plot, and character development, speaking of character development, into this amount of minutes, I was pretty impressed.
Yes, it's kind of staggering.
Yeah.
It was good when I ended up watching it. I came in after watching Mandalorian and Grogu and having a few beers in Belfast and had a nice
Mm.
whiskey while I was watching it. And it was good to be like slightly drunk when watching it. It kind of like
Yeah.
it's a slightly drunk kind of film, you know.
It was like a Vibe era
Yeah,
film.
yeah, 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 very much so.
Uh, I mean, I wrote down why I love this movie. Things like a pack of dogs.
Yes.
So like her grandfather, they all live together. It's like a multi-generational Irish household
Hmm.
in the 80s
Hmm.
in New York City. And like her grandfather's this ancient dude and he's got what, six dogs?
Yeah.
And I just thought of your sister
Yeah, it's true.
and how
Absolutely
wonderful
true.
like it is to just like have that many dogs around. And he was like walking all the dogs together and like he made enough appearances that it made me really happy. And I was excited that maybe I was going to get to see the pack of dogs again. So
Yes, it's true. Every time you see them, you're like, yeah. At first I
yeah,
thought because it wasn't entirely clear until later on, but I thought they were in an apartment, and I was like, "That's too many dogs for an apartment." But they
yeah,
do, they do own their own house there.
yeah. It's like it's a, I couldn't tell if it was a brownstone like connected like a townhouse or if it was a house. It doesn't matter, but it's just, it felt very new. It did feel very New York to me.
The sort of thing that's probably worth. multiple millions probably these days, or has been carved up into like
Yes.
apartments by now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, my family had a br- I don't know if it was a brownstone, but like they all lived in Brooklyn and they all lived either in the same house or like next door to each other. In that same type of like, yeah, like grandma's there, cousins there. And I don't know. For him, I know for my dad, he loved, he was an only child too. So he was like, yay, family.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick synopsis. So no sooner does Italian American widow Loretta, who has a thing about bad luck, which I love, accept a marriage proposal from her doltish boyfriend Johnny. Then she finds herself falling for his younger brother Ronnie. Also, I love that they named them Johnny and Ronnie. Anyways, this is the kind of like detail this movie has that I just think is amazing. She tries to resist, but Ronnie lost a hand in an accident that he blames on his brother, and he has no scruples about aggressively pursuing her while Johnny is out of the country. As Loretta falls deeper in love, she comes to learn that she is not the only one of her family with a secret romance.
Yeah. It's good. It did feel like everybody was kind of like it's yeah. I mean, everybody has a romantic subplot. Even like her married mother and father both have kind of separate romantic
Yes,
subplots.
yes, yes. And her grandfather gets involved too,
It's true.
as like the the observer.
And the people that she works with, the couple that she works with.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Who I
not.
think are her aunt and uncle,
Yes, I
because
think
that's
you're right.
just yeah.
Especially the
And
way
I
they're.
love that the beginning where she's like working at a funeral parlor and her boss is like talking about how great he is at his job and she's like, you got butter on the tie and she takes
Yeah.
the tie off. I don't know, it just like you could see the community that she lives in. You could see her role as sort of like the caretaker and voice of reason within that
hmm
community. I don't
hmm
know. I don't know. Keep let's keep
Um.
going.
Yeah. Really, very, very interesting. There's also like I because like okay, let me talk a little bit about this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the film. So the director was Norman Jewison, yeah, a director that I had heard of before, but I couldn't tell you honestly what films he had directed.
I've never
Um,
heard of him.
he's a Canadian filmmaker who was known for directing films that address social and political issues. Films like In the Heat of the Night, Fiddler on the
Ooh.
Roof, and of
Ooh.
course Moonstruck. Yeah, so like he is a big director, like, and like somebody who I knew was important, but I didn't really know a ton of context for him because I've not seen Fiddler, I've not seen Heat of the
You'd
Night,
like
but
it.
I think I probably would.
You'd
I would
like
like,
both of them.
I like the songs from Fiddler that I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, but like um. Also aware of like how important in the Heat of the Night is, and like and how that kind of launched City Poitier and things like that.
My dad
Um,
had the soundtrack to the Into Heat of the Night on cassette.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
we
no,
rocked
it's
to
one I
it.
should really get around to. He also did like Rollerball. And at first I've written this down like he also did Rollerball, but Rollerball was also kind of about like, the future that we're living in now and all the kind of crazy. Like I was thinking about it in terms of like the enhanced games happening this weekend, and I'm just like, we're living now.
What
We're
are
living
the
now.
what are the enhanced games?
Oh God, you don't know about this? Okay, I've got
No.
terrible news for you.
Oh
So they
God.
happened in Las Vegas last weekend. They are games where the participants can be on performance enhancing drugs. Yeah,
I saw some articles about this, but I didn't put that together. What?
yeah.
Oh, no, I read an article where someone won, but they weren't on performance
Yes.
enhancing drugs.
Basically, because this was the
And
whole
people
thing.
were like, wait a second, that's against the rules. You
Like
have to be on performance.
you didn't have to be, and there were people competing
Okay.
in it just to be like, we're interested to see how we get on as and
Yeah.
like lots of people who were not in performance enhancing drugs did win. Only one world record was broken. And again, it technically isn't broken because they were on drugs. So
This
it
is
like
fucked up.
yeah, it is fucked up. Because it's like, yeah, it's
And I
insane.
know there were people gambling on those
Oh, you just know.
races.
I think it was like some kind of crypto millionaire, and like some sort of like fucking scumbags who are just kind of like, how can we make money off things, it's just a complete money making activity and such a fucking bummer. But like, Rollerball is very much about that in terms of my memory. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's about, the corporations taking over and just basically kind of, using people and using up their bodies for entertainment, which is kind of what the enhanced games is as well.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but yeah, so like very interesting director. He had like an incredible career. A ton of films that you would probably know, honestly. But yeah, like very kind of like connected. He did one called I think it's just called Fist, which is about like unions and things like that, and their relationship with the government and things like that. I think that had Stallone in it and stuff like that. So he has a very interesting and varied career when I think he was trying to kind of meet the issues of the time, in terms of the films he was trying to make. So
Hmm.
interesting dude.
It's just I what people are interested in is always fascinating to
Yeah.
me. Um, so this was written by John Patrick Shanley.
Hmm.
He won an Oscar for best. The way they worded it makes me think that they changed the category a little bit, but basically it's either a screenplay or adapted screenplay. Um, which doesn't, yeah, I think it was just best screenplay
Hmm.
for Moonstruck. He also wrote, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Doubt with Meryl
No.
Streep and ugh, I can't remember the guy's name. Doesn't matter. It does matter. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. So Doubt, it's really good. It's about a priest and a nun, and he gets accused of sexually abusing I think a child, and
Uh-huh.
she's got to figure out if he's telling the truth or not. It's really good. Um, Congo, he wrote,
Ooh,
and
wow.
also one of my favorite like guilty pleasure movies, Joe versus the volcano.
Hell yeah.
Um, so basically, it's always funny how these things come out or like why things happen the way they do. We couldn't be in the place we are with Moonstruck without Sally Field. I guess
Hmm.
she liked his work. She invited him to lunch at the Russian Tea Room, which I've been to, made me very happy to discuss a collaboration. So he wrote the screenplay for her, and he called it The Bride and the Wolf, and he promised that it would earn her an Oscar nomination, but she wasn't super jazzed on the idea of being an Italian American from Brooklyn. Um, so we'll come back to who, well, obviously he cast Cher, but basically his he writes plays too, not just screenplays.
Hmm.
And a lot of his plays are compared to the opera to operas, and that like the opera and the Metropolitan Opera in New York were heavily featured in this movie. So he was so the La Boheme is the opera that they're listening to. Uh, so he wrote the character of Ronnie as like a bohemian from La Boheme, which I guess La Boheme then must mean the bohemian.
Mm.
I was today and now years old when I realized that.
Made that
Okay,
connection.
I did. It's that real time, folks. Okay, so basically he pitched the role to Cher and she was like, "I can be difficult." And he replied, "Are you any more difficult than Judy Garland?" He also warned her that she would spend the rest of her life regretting turning down the role. He cast the roles as if the movie were an opera. So Loretta is the soprano, Rose is the alto, Johnny is the baritone, Ronnie is the tenor, and Cosmo the bass.
Nice.
So I don't know if that ties into your music facts and
That's no,
thoughts
that's
and opinions.
interesting.
I
I
know. Like this
um
movie's deep.
It really is. Like, it was one of the things I was wondering in terms of like um you know, in a lot of his other not I think all of his films he's trying to meet the moment, he's trying to talk about a an issue of the time. And I'm wondering I had been wondering kind of what it was for this film, but I think he's maybe interested in examining, marriage structures and what they mean in the
Hmm.
modern world and like also kind of modern romance and things like that. Which is absolutely like and I like obviously. 60s, 70s, 80s, even in the 90s, a big time of change in that regard in terms of
Huge.
like what that looks like and what that should be. Um, so yeah. Anyway, yes. So you'd set me up and then I just kind of went
No,
into
I'm gonna
tangent there.
tie, sorry, I'm gonna tie into that.
Huh?
Like I was like, what, yeah, like what are we basically looking at here? And I wrote down like the different kinds of love that you have in life, I think was, you
Hmm.
know, because they were, no one had the same, well, eh, I think the different kinds of love that you have in life, like her love for her parents, her love for her family, the grandpa's love for his dogs,
Yep.
um, her
Like
love for Johnny, her love for Ronnie, how those are two different things.
Cosmo's love for his wife, also his like desire
Yes.
to look outside of that marriage and things like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Also,
the Olympia Dukakis character, her
yeah.
mother ends up, make befriending this kind of like Professor Cad who keeps like going on dates with younger women and they're
Hmm.
throwing water in his face, but then, that connection that it's like a little like romantic spark. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting to see, the different generations, the different stories and how, I mean, obviously Ronnie and the Cher character are the central hub, but there's so much more going on outside of that that I really just appreciated. And it all kind of like intersects too in like embarrassing and weird ways. And then I also wrote down like betrayal and reconciliation.
Yeah. That makes
Yep.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot of kind of like, an awareness that these things are happening, and it just and a kind of very kind of like matter of fact way of dealing with them. I know that you're having an affair. I want you to stop. It's like, yeah, okay.
And he's like, all right. And she's like, te amo. And he's like, te amo, which means I love you. And it's like, okay, that's probably as much conversation
Yeah,
as they will ever have around him having an affair and her being like, you need to stop
yeah,
at the family dinner table with everybody else around.
yeah.
Um,
Okay,
okay.
so I got the music.
Yes, please.
So, the composer for this film was Dick Hyman, who did like he is known as composer. He also composed a ton of Woody Allen films. So I guess like a kind of very kind of New York sort of composer, but was best known as a very talented jazz pianist. Like, was regarded as one of the most versatile players of his time. And he's recorded like his Wikipedia page is nuts. He has recorded so many albums. It's insane,
Wow.
both as a leader and kind of like as a side man. So like that is kind of like the core of his, I think, career is as a kind of jazz pianist.
Wow.
And yeah, interesting look at his Wikipedia page. I think like his composing stuff was almost his kind of like side gig type of thing, But I think,
Wow.
you
I
know,
love that for him.
so do I. I think that like obviously Woody Allen is a complicated figure to talk about in this day and age, but like I
Mhm.
think that his soundtracks often were they seem to like embody New York in a way that maybe like in a way that maybe other films don't quite get, and I think that this is also the same. It felt very grounded in New York. It felt very kind of like evocative of that place based on my understanding of it. And yeah, I think it was very, very well done in that regard.
I agree. Yeah, it's hard to watch, it's I it's a place that's near and dear to my heart. I barely spent any time there, but the times I have spent, like it's been amazing. I love that I have family there, and it really did feel like um not that like it was a love letter to the city, but like there was something there too.
Yeah.
I felt like a tenderness towards the place that they were living.
Yeah, it's a love it's I suppose as much of a love story between the people as it is for the place that they live in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Um, I liked the music, so I have a music fact
Hmm.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, maybe I didn't write it down. Anyways, doesn't matter. So basically, they played That's Amore at the beginning of the movie. Like
Hmm.
when the moon hits your eye.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, and he had originally put in like something from Puccini's La Boheme, and the test audiences were like, "Oh God, is this an art film?" And a lot of them like because that set the tone, and so things that were funny in the movie, like they didn't laugh at it because it had already set them up with a
That's
different
interesting.
mindset. So then they
Hmm.
put That's Amore in, and then they laughed at all the jokes. The next test audience then laughed, and they were like, "All right, so." This is, I just love like these little tidbits of like every little piece of effort and energy that goes into a movie matters so much and literally can like make or break it.
100%.
So
100%.
music matters
It
too.
really does. It like it's enormously so. Like, it's another thing, you know, talking about seeing Mandalorian and Grogu. I think it's Ludwig Göransson, I believe, is the composer for the Mandalorian series and for the movie, and like it's his score elevates that so much, does so much,
Mhm.
and he does an incredible score for the film as well. But yeah, it makes all the difference. Um, so right, okay. One of the things that kind of struck me, and I immediately started thinking about it whenever I saw Danny Aiello, and he went, "Well, you need to call my brother," and I was like, "Well, his brother must be Nicolas Cage because we haven't seen him yet." And I'm like, Danny Aiello is an older gentleman.
Yes.
How old is Nicolas Cage? Uh,
So,
do you know the age? Do you know the difference between their ages?
uh, okay,
Do you want to take a guess?
I didn't, I have other, you tell me.
31 years.
Yes,
That's, I mean, like,
that sounds right.
and that does happen. Like, do you do get brothers like that? But it feels insane to me that they've had this like
Yes.
long, like he must have been when they had their falling out. He must have been like 16. You know,
Right.
it's
Lost his hand at
yeah,
16. Was he going to get married then?
I,
Lost my hand, lost my girl. So, speaking of age,
yeah,
Cher was 18 years older than Nicolas Cage.
yeah,
And just Cher, man, she's so fucking on it. Olympia Dukakis, who plays her mother, is only 15 years older than her
yeah.
on-screen daughter, Cher. So,
But
Cher
the
looks like, I don't know. Cher looks like perfection in this
oh,
movie. I can't even put
incredible.
an age on her. It's like she goes, yeah, her makeover montage is like one of my favorites
Yeah,
in any movie ever because it's like really she looks beautiful at the beginning and then like she takes his breath away at
at the
the Met
opera.
and
Yeah,
mine too.
yeah.
Mine
Oh,
too.
100%. She
I
is
gasped.
stunning whenever you see her
Yeah.
there. It's yeah, she's absolutely incredible looking.
And like, ladies, bring back the big permed hair because it just
Yeah.
totally it was working for Cher.
Oh, it really, yeah, it really rocks. Yeah. I also had kind of thought that my other kind of big note that I was like, big note thing that
Big
really kind
note.
of intrigued me was that every time they had champagne, they put a sugar cube in it.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck is up with that?
Uh-huh.
So, okay, so on special occasions that champagne is served, they're dropping sugar cubes into it. So I guess there's an old Italian superstition that ha and this is like uh, this is probably I wasn't really raised like with Italian heritage, but this is so up my alley. Um, the superstition is that happiness associated with champagne attracts evil. So they drop a sugar cube in to distract the devil, and also they want to like sweeten the champagne and make it actually sweeter. So
It's nice.
yeah, so it's like it's kind of that like don't say anything. You don't want to like, you don't want to jinx anything or like don't say this is going to happen because you'll jinx it. Or like if life is too good, like something bad is going to happen soon, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like that thought
It's,
pattern, which
it
is
is
like
great.
that's yeah, I know.
Because like
So
near the start of the movie, she arrives with a bottle of champagne and she just like fills up, and it was just how matter of factly her father just takes a cube out, puts one
Yeah,
in hers and one in his,
yeah.
and I'm just like, this is just how they do it. It
This
was
is just how
great.
they do it. Yeah, exactly. So, moral of the story, drink more champagne and get
Yeah,
some sugar cubes. So,
yeah.
I know what you need to do for your birthday.
Yeah, get some sugar cubes. Just eat a big handful of sugar cubes.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
distract that devil.
Yeah.
Uh, so I have I don't know. I thought that the cast was amazing. Like every character I believed. Um, I loved her uncle and the way he would say Cosmos Moon. I just, they were, I love the cast. I thought they did a fabulous
Oh,
job. Those
everybody
casting
wonderful.
agents, directors of casting.
And I did find her because you like it, was as much as like obviously the centerpiece of this movie is the Cher and Nick Cage relationship, and it's really great. Um, I also really find like we talked about her mother and father's relationship and what that looks like and the shape of it is really fascinating too.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
like there's love there, but it's also kind of like obviously these are people that spent a lot of time together. They live with his father, and like I can only imagine like the pressures it would must put, any kind of loving relationship under if you're living with like a larger group of extended family and things like that.
Mhm.
Also with their adult daughter and things like that. So it's really fascinating. I thought like he was such a kind of great character. Like he was so charming and like personable and kind of like he just had this kind of flair and light with him and like where his mother seemed to be like certainly at the start of the movie a bit more beaten down like whenever like he first brings her upstairs, his mother's asleep or her mother's asleep, and her father brings her upstairs and tells the mother that she's getting married again, she's been proposed to, and she goes, "Are you in love with him?" And she
Yeah,
says no, and she goes, "Good."
yeah, yeah. And
It's
then at the end, there's this like really good kitchen scene where it all gets unraveled and everyone, permission to marry here, apologies here, celebrations here. And this whole, I don't know how they did it. It's like you feel like you're sitting at the table. You feel like you're in the room a little bit. Like it just feels like a
Yeah.
warm, cozy, comfortable environment. And I was like, I wish I lived in that house. Um, but her mom's like, now that she is in love with Ronnie, not Johnny, and her mom's like, "Do you love him?" And she's like, "Oh my, I love him something awful." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh,
No,
that's
no.
that's too bad." Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it's too
like
bad, yeah.
full circle.
No, that was great. I think, and we've certainly encountered this in some other films that we've watched, is that like sometimes like the sexual politics of films, from that era, you're like, ooh,
Yeah,
okay, wow. Like
yeah.
the specific thing that I'm thinking of is, whenever they first kind of like meet and get together and like, this is I forgot the name of Cher's character, Loretta and
Hmm.
Ronnie, and they're kissing, and she's like, no, 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 I can't do this, I can't do this. And he just picks her up and carries her towards the room. And she's like, no, 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 this can't happen. And she essentially just like gives up and submits and does, he's like, oh,
Yeah,
fine, whatever. And it's just
yeah,
like, oh, this is this is
yeah.
kind of dodgy, but like I think that their charm and their clear affection for each other, their chemistry kind of like blows it away. I just think that probably in modern times, through modern eyes, it's interesting to
I
to revisit
know.
that.
I did that with when Harry met
Ooh,
Sally a couple years ago, and I was like, ooh.
really?
Yeah, it's like, and I was watching it with a friend, and she was like, "I like can't watch any more of this movie," and I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "It's so funny, it's so funny. You've never seen it. Totally need to see it." And then it was like, "Oh." Uh, so yeah, this I guess comparing those two movies, like this was definitely like I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I just feel like compared to other movies of
Yes.
the time, it's better than
There is like a kind of like surreal kind of innocence to this film in a way. Like it's
yeah,
not like it's
yeah.
super sexual or anything like that. So I think
Hmm.
that helps with, even though there's characters, it's not like there's sex scenes, but it's obviously implied that characters have sex and things like that. But like it's kind of that's not like a core component of the movie, and I think it helps in that aspect a lot.
Hmm. But it was definitely like, you could feel the machismo, the man is the head of the household, like the hierarchy, what do you do? Oh, I'm a housewife, all that kind of stuff. Which at the time, you know, I don't know. I really liked, so Olympia Dukakis plays her mom.
Hmm.
I really thought she didn't have, most of her lines were like one word. Be like, yes, no, it's none of your business. Um, she did so much with what she had. I
Yep.
think she actually got an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress
Nice.
for this.
She has like a kind of like a weariness to her, like it's like she's just kind of like, this is just I'm kind of done with this a little bit in a lot of ways. Like I'm kind of like at that point where it's like, all my sort of like romantic days are behind me type of thing. But there is still that sort of like spark that's there. You can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so do you want some facts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so um, between takes, Cher motioned to Olympia Dukakis that the movie was going to be a dud. She originally thought she was giving a bad performance, and then yeah, she won the Oscar and the Golden Globe for Best Actress. If she would just get on Broadway, man, she
That's
could be
nuts.
she's close to she could got it. So the customers leaving the Camerari's bakery as Cher is entering. Mr. and Mrs. Fugaci
Okay.
are played by Charles and Catherine Scorsese, parents of Martin Scorsese. And his mother appears in many of his
Yes,
films.
she does.
So I rewound it, and yeah, there they
Where
are.
is she?
So
What part is she in? Or are his parents in this?
they're coming into the bakery.
I see. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, and she's
Amazing.
like, oh, yeah. Um,
Did you know
huh.
that Martin Scorsese voices a character in Mandalorian and Grogu?
No.
Yeah.
Could you tell?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
he's got
yeah.
his own canter
He does.
of yeah.
A four-armed AI or CGI alien. Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
It's truly insane. Anyway, sorry, I
Okay.
derailed you.
I
Apologies.
love that. I love that when they just like
Right?
pop up in weird places, like Flea. Ah,
Yeah.
so good. Okay, that I gave you, that I gave you. When Johnny hails a cab at the airport after his return from Sicily, he asks the driver to take him to 19 Cranberry Street, Brooklyn, which is Loretta's house. This is the real address of the house used for exterior
Oh
shots.
wow.
So we can go visit.
Hell yeah.
Anybody can.
Pilgrimage.
Let's go find those people who live there and ask if
Hmm.
we can come in. Um, so I guess so. The man that plays the grandfather, Fyodor Chapelain Jr. I apologize for my poor pronunciation.
Hmm.
So Norman Jewison was unable to get insurance on him because he was over 80 and he had a tendency to wander around a little bit too much. Like there he goes. You like bring him back. Which I don't know. I thought maybe he was just playing himself in the movie and that doesn't even matter. And then the very end, like you pan away from the family in the kitchen and you pull back and you're in the house and then you go into one of the rooms and there's like, photos of the family. Those are actual baby pictures of Cher from her private
Oh
collection.
really? Wow.
And I was like, is that what we call our like keepsake boxes?
Hmm. Hmm.
My
Yeah.
hold on, let me go get my baby picture from my private collection, Andy, so you can see what I look like as a baby.
I
Do you have your private collection, or does your mom handle your private collection?
my mum handles my private collection. I'm not to be trusted. I mean, I have, for our old podcast format, remember I had to send you some baby, or had
Yes,
to. I sent you some
yes.
baby pictures for one of our episodes, and So
Those
my
were
mom,
from the private collection.
yeah. My mom is
Amazing.
is the gatekeeper for those things.
So yeah, that's what I have. I also have a few Nick Cage
Okay.
facts. Um, so uh apparently he's been arrested for alleged domestic violence against his wife Alice. This was from 2011.
Sorry, wait.
Uh
He in real life?
yeah.
Oh God.
I know. Never meet your heroes or Wikipedia them. Um so there was $11,000 needed to bail him out, and it was posted by Dwayne Dog Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Amazing.
So, whatever relationship, this man, I am so curious. I have so many questions, Nicolas
I,
Cage.
what I thought was really interesting about this as well, this might be one of your facts, was that he had not wanted to do this film. He had wanted to do Vampire's Kiss, but was told that the only way you're doing Vampire's Kiss is if you do Moonstruck.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing both, which is Vampire's Kiss is a famously like Nicolas Cage is maybe the king of weird performances, and like apparently this is his most insane performance. So I think it's the one where he eats a live cockroach or something insane like that.
Oh my God, we just watched Bringing Out the Dead, and that was pretty up there.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously we know that he's a nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, and Talia Shire. Okay, his five favorite films are listed as The Wizard of Oz, the 1939 version, A Streetcar Named Desire, East of Eden, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and A Clockwork Orange.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting. It's
yeah.
not colossally surprising. This,
No, it hits right.
this film has shades of Streetcar as well, I think, with the whole sort of like,
Yes.
the vest and the sweaty, angry man. Like it
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Stella. And they're like,
Yes.
why is he sooty? Why is he covered in soot?
Yeah.
With Stanley Kowalski, we don't know, but this one he worked at a bakery
Yes.
with his one hand. He's referred to as the jazz musician of acting by David Lynch. I feel like I might have read that before, or I read it and I was like, "Ooh, put that in." The historic LaLaurie House on the corner of Royal and Government Nichols Street in New Orleans, Louisiana. Cage bought for about 3.4 million in 2007, and it's reputed to be haunted by the many slaves tortured and killed by Delphine LaLaurie in the 1830s. So, um, yeah, man, put your money into real estate, I guess.
Yes, for sure.
And then he mentioned in an interview that he's a massive fan of Quentin Tarantino and expresses great interest in working with him in the future.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
Mhm.
There you go. Do you have any other bits and pieces for us, Beth, or shall we move into our final wee section?
I'm just thinking of random things. Do you remember, this has nothing to do with anything, but
Hmm.
I was thinking about, I watched Keyboard Cat with,
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember Keyboard Cat.
I
It
do.
would be like these guys would, or these people would find like these weird clips of shows, and uh
Because
you would
it was a
watch it and
cat that
just
was
be
like,
like, and then yeah, then like you'd be like, oh, this is a weird clip, and then this cat would show up and play this keyboard like wearing a blue shirt or whatever.
yes.
I just think we need to do, and Wilford Brimley's in this episode that I love.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like we need to do, I was like, we need to do a share month. And then I watched Keyboard Cat and I'm like, oh, we need to do a Wilford Brimley month. So like
Absolutely.
Cocoon is on our list.
Yep.
Remo
Hmm.
is excellent. Uh Ewoks, The Battle for
Oh
Endor. I
my
don't know. I
God.
just think like
Yeah,
maybe put
sure.
this, yeah. So I'm
I,
just throwing
I
that out there.
I know somebody who will be very happy about that.
Okay,
Uh,
well, so Cher and Wilford Brimley
okay.
are my.
He's also in the thing, but
He's in everything. I know.
we've
So
covered the thing, unfortunately.
we
Uh,
have.
I mean,
But
not
The
unfortunately.
Natural with
Yeah.
Robert Redford, and then that could
Sure.
segue into Robert Redford.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
so
We'll
there
get
you
to
go.
it. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Random
uh,
thoughts.
random thoughts. So, final few wee sections, too legit to fit. easily share.
Yes.
It has to be like, doesn't it?
Oh
Jesus
my
looks
God, her
so
dress was
incredible.
so, and then she got these gorgeous red shoes. And at the
Yep.
end of the opera night, she's like walking home in the morning, and it's like so early, there's no cars in the street. That's not true. They shut the road down and wouldn't let any cars drive. And she's kicking this
Yes.
can down the road with these gorgeous red shoes. And I was like, girl,
But I
those
don't.
shoes are too cute to be
It's,
kicking a
it's
can.
true. Just absolutely radiant.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Okay. Andy's Animal Acting Award
Mhm,
for
mhm.
excellence in animal acting has to go to the dog pack. I mean, I can't just
Oh my
single
God.
one of them out.
No. There was one though, like the grandfather brought them all into the house and like was like, get upstairs or whatever. And like one of them hit, he like ran in and hit the step and fell down. And then all of them, then he was like, oh, and shook his head and they all ran up the steps. And I was like, they kept that in. It's like the pup made a mistake. And they
I
were
mean,
like, that's real life.
that is real life. That's some classic dog shit.
Yeah. This is
So
my favorite. I would say like we can do like an end of year roundup or whatever, but this
uh
is probably in my top three of animal acting.
that's pretty good. So all
Yeah.
five dogs have to come up on stage at the same time and accept the
Yep.
award. So
Yep.
just come on
Yep.
up now.
Yep.
Okay. So Beth, um, in terms of revisit, remember, refuse, or redo, what are your thoughts on Moonstruck?
Well, you know, my friend, one of my oldest and best friends, Karen, her mom, like I swear to God, in like middle and high school, every time I would go over to her house, her mom was watching Moonstruck. So
Really?
yeah. So I've seen p bits and pieces. I probably do a rewatch of this movie every 3 years or so.
Hmm.
It just makes me feel good. And I just love to be like dropped into this world and be in that space for a little while. So I revisit, and I would just like to dedicate this to Lynn Dietrich.
Love it.
May
Love
she
it.
rest in peace. So
Love it. I think it's an interesting, because this was my first time seeing it,
yeah,
and I find it interesting. It wasn't what I was expecting, and it's very different. I think it's like, it really does carve its own path, and I think it's really interesting in that regard. Like, but I find, I don't know, and maybe my expectations were too high. I enjoyed it, but I
mhm.
feel like it's a remember for me rather than a
There you go.
revisit. Like I do recognize the craft, I do recognize what makes it so impactful and so important to people, but I think because I didn't have that kind of like, connection to it, it didn't kind of sink in with me in the same way. Still
Yeah,
liked it a lot, but I think it's a remember for me. Okay, so
that's
Beth,
allowed. That's allowed.
okay,
What?
what's me bringing you joy this week?
Uh,
Gross.
uh, joy. Um, Actually, I'm reading a book.
Okay.
My sister, I got a random book in the mail, which, who knows what I do when I've like taken a sleeping pill. So sometimes this happens.
Hmm.
But then my sister was like, "Did you get the book?" And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "What random thing did I decide to order at 3 a.m.?" Thank you, Amazon. So it's a book called How to Murder Your Life
Okay.
by a woman named Kat Marnell. She lived, do you ever it's that show on MTV called not Copycat, Catfish?
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so I've watched like maybe 5 minutes of that show ever,
Hmm.
but she was the roommate of Nev, what's his name, who does that show. It
Oh,
doesn't
interesting.
matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you
Well,
mean.
but she was like, and she was a beauty editor for some fashion magazines, but it's
Hmm.
basically like writing. It's weird. I feel like I wrote it, but
Hmm.
it's not
Wow.
my life. So it's
Okay.
like I'm like these are all like she writes like I think in my brain and
Hmm.
probably
Hmm.
talk. So it's just a weird descent into someone else's life and my words. I don't know how to. It's so funny and it's like reading my own brain, but it's not my brain. I don't know how to explain it, but it's so funny. If anybody wants to read a funny book, uh, written by me, but not by me,
Sure.
you can order How to Murder Your Life.
It contains Beth's essence, or aspect
Pretty
of it.
much. And I'm
Uh,
too lazy to write that book, so here's
here it
here it
is.
is. Written by somebody else. What
Um,
about you?
book also.
Give me some joy.
Okay, a book also for me. I just finished the book that I had. It was the second book that I bought. On my way over to Oxford, I missed my flight, so I bought two books. One of which I read before I even saw Beth. The other one I started reading. It's called Slags, and I've just finished it, and it was really great. It was kind of about it's kind of a road trip between two sisters, and like both them kind of like reconnecting, but also unpacking their like teenage years and her like obsession with this kind of older teacher and how she's like certain that they're soulmates and the kind of what happens with that. It's really interesting, really fascinating, and I really enjoyed it.
It's called
Um,
Slags.
it's called Slags, yeah.
I totally forgot you missed your flight. That's right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Good,
But yeah, so Slags, I definitely recommend it. It was a great book. Um,
good.
so yeah. Okay. So next week
Next,
it's our
yep.
final Nic
hmm
Cage
hmm
episode. We're going to watch Gone in 60 Seconds. So check
hmm
that one out for next week. Beth, can you let everybody know where they can find us?
Andy, I want you to work on the Nick Cage. I'm ready to go steal some cars, hand mo movements that he does before he goes and jacks some
Okay,
cars.
I got it. Got it.
So just practice it and maybe
Count me
I
in.
think you can use it for other I heard that burp. I think you can use it for many non-illegal activities in
Okay,
life
perfect.
generally. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why not both? Why not
Yes, but
both?
you can
Yeah.
find us at movietestofTime.com, Facebook, the internets. Please tell your friends we exist, and
Yes.
if they want to hear two friends from opposite sides of the planet talking
Yep.
about movies, we're here.
The
The
movies.
movies.
Okay. Love it. All right. In that case, as always, folks, we like to say goodbye to our confused and besotted fans. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. We love
We love
you.
you. Bye bye.
Quentin Tarantino, why don't you cast Nicolas Cage? Bye. We love you.
Or me. Goodbye.
Or Andy. Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.